The only reason why there's an intro for this is just because I did want to put a disclaimer. The stories and questions that you're going to hear, there are some topics that are about death. So I did want to put that disclaimer just in case that's not your bag. I know that could be morbid to some people, so I don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable. As well as someone in the video was smoking a cigarette, so I have to edit that out. So if there's any weird edits or like weird emojis, that's why, because YouTube will demonetize you or put a strike against your channel for a cigarette, but just play safe. So if you see any weird edits or cuts or weird emojis in places, that's why. But in this first segment of it, we're going to be going over our personal paranormal, or maybe not paranormal encounters, as well as cryptid sightings, as well as asking each other very weird, intimate, creepy questions. And please, I would love to know your answers when we ask the questions. Please feel free to leave them in the comments, or please leave a scary experience. And don't forget, I'm going to be running this for about like one more week where I'm still taking stories from you guys. So again, if you guys want to email them to me, my email is right here and I'll put it in the description of the video below. So if you had any weird instances that happened that you want like a witch's opinion on, or anything that you just want to share to tell everybody else, please feel free to email me. This was filmed outside by a campfire, so there are crickets, there is a campfire. I tried to edit out as much background noise as I could, but just so you could still hear like the ambiance of everything. Then as soon as we start this segment, you're like right up against the fire, so I try to make it look like you're sitting there with us. To me, every day is Halloween, but so far, I hope you're having a good October or Halloween season or whatever time of year that you watch this. So, let's get into some spooky stories and some spooky questions with our paranormal and personal experiences. Hi, I'm Crystal the Cottage Witch, and today I'm here with another childhood friend, Amber! We've been friends for a very long time. Over 20 years as well, I'm pretty sure, if not longer. And today, we're gonna ask each other spooky questions. Alright, for this video, we decided to sit around a fire to do the spooky questions, because it's October, and the vibe. Plus, we do fires anyway, so... This is no different from any other night. As I ask Amber these questions, feel free to answer in the comments what you would think and if any of these made you think. Some of these are kind of silly because they're, you know, spooky, Halloween kind of cliche questions. I think like one or two that I put in here might be kind of very dark, but
like morbid dark?
Kind of morbid dark, a little bit, depending on someone's point of view. So I'm just putting it from that perspective.
It's a nice range of...
Because I didn't want to be like, well, there is one question that's like that, but I'd rather be like, would you rather be a jack-o'-lantern or a ghost? You know, I don't want to ask questions like that. Are you ready for your first question? Because I'm going to answer these too.
Yeah.
Okay, first question. What's freakier? Always hearing something move around you and never seeing it, or always seeing something move but never hearing it?
I think seeing something move, the visual of it. Because after a while of hearing something move, you're kind of just like, oh, it's like a weird house noise that you can just ignore. And if nothing ever happens, then it becomes ignorable. But seeing something
I got this
and
from
not
the mannequins.
Oh.
That's what made me think of this question.
No.
The mannequins moving.
No, my mind plays tricks on me enough that if I saw something, I would probably never sleep again.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. I like... Seeing something but not hearing it move, that would freak me out way more. Because every time you turn, it's moved in a different position, but you can't ever hear it. Versus always hearing something around you but never being able to see what it is. Even if like you follow the noise, like that's still freaky, but after a while you're kind of like, okay, it hasn't come near me yet, so...
Yeah, it's not bothering me. It's, you know, like my old apartment, hearing footsteps in the attic. It's freaky the first couple times, and you're like, what the hell?
That was the raccoon, though, right? Turned out to be a raccoon?
Yes.
Okay. That wasn't anything supernatural. Debunked.
Just after a while of hearing it, you're just like, oh, whatever.
Yeah, see, that's easier. Always seeing something, that would freak me out way more. Alright, this question might be kind of morbid to some people, so I'm just putting that disclaimer. I don't think it's that morbid, but some might. Would you rather know the date of your death or the cause of your death?
That's a hard one. That's a real hard one because both of them are anxiety inducing because the date of your death, you'd just constantly be thinking about it and counting down towards it, and then, you know, you wouldn't be able to live your life. But the cause of death would give you this absurd fear of whatever that thing is. Like, if you died in a bus crash, you'd never get on a bus again. But I think for me, I want to know the cause of my death.
I agree with that one. Every year, without knowing it, we pass by the date of our death. You know? So, isn't that... Sorry, I know it's not
more morbid than the question.
Sorry, guys. I said it was morbid, but that's my train of thought. But in my head, I'm like, oh, if I knew the cause of death, maybe I could... You know, that's my mindset where I'm like, oh, if this was my cause of death, I would avoid this. But if it was something that you can't avoid, you know, then you're kind of like, oh, I'd rather know the cause.
101 ways to die.
Yeah. Dumb ways to die. Okay, here's a little bit more lighthearted one. If there was a zombie apocalypse, which one of your friends would die first? Answer honestly.
Sam.
Oh no.
I'm gonna link him this.
Oh, Sam, you're called out. I'm going to die first. Sam said it.
Sam. Yeah.
I honestly think I have two. They're both tied.
We'll say them both.
Okay, I might do that. First one I think would be... I'm sorry, this is no offense.
We love you anyway.
Yeah. First one I would think would be Martina, because she wouldn't want to hurt anything, wouldn't want to do anything to hurt anybody. So if a zombie was coming after her, she would be like, oh no, it's okay, like, I don't want to hurt you. So I don't think Martina would make it very far. Love you. I'm sorry. You need bodyguards around you in order to make it.
Just you and your shotgun.
Yeah, just me and my shotgun. Yeah, I'm good. I'm a good shot. And then the second one would also be, again, I love you. Don't take this personally. But our friend Katie, I don't think she would make it in a zombie apocalypse, because I feel like she might try to train the zombies and it might not work out for her. Nothing against either one of them, but they would both need bodyguards. That's the only reason why I'm saying them. All right, here's like a cheesy Halloween question. Are you ready for a cheesy Halloween question?
Do it.
All right. Would you rather be a vampire or a werewolf, and why?
I don't like vampires. But that aside, I'd say werewolf, because you really only have to deal with it during the full moon. There's a vampire. Like, I don't want to live forever.
We literally have the same exact answers for all of these. I would also choose...
We are the same person.
We basically are. No, seriously, we are. We really are. No, I would also be a werewolf. I'm not elegant. Vampires are elegant. You know what I mean? I'm more feral, and like I could run fast, and I get to be out in the moon, and I could be naked fully, and no one would think it's weird. So
I mean,
we're not the same in that. We're not the same in that.
Still think it's weird. It's just you're a werewolf. What are they going to do about it?
Yeah, because there is a common misconception that it's silver that kills a werewolf. Do you always think it's silver that kills a werewolf?
I've never actually thought about it, but what actually kills a werewolf? So
the first stories of like werewolves down in Folklore, it was hunters in France, because France is like where the main spots besides like Romulus and forgot his name, the Roman Empire, where Lupercalia comes into play. But anyway,
the only thing in my head right now is Harry Potter.
Lupin, yeah. But for one of the stories about werewolves that came from France, he actually had a Saint Mary or Holy Mary necklace that was made out of pure silver. And since it was a holy object, and werewolves were considered to be like these evil from hell type of creatures, he melted down his necklace to make a bullet. But since it was made out of silver, it was a silver bullet, and that's what had killed it. But it was supposed to be the holiness behind the object that had killed the werewolf. It just so happened to be out of silver.
Makes sense.
And there was like a few stories like that where they were holy objects, but a lot of them were made out of silver. But it was the holiness of the object that killed the werewolf, not it being silver. But now it's just been adapted to silver and wolfsbane or monk's hood, things like that, to kill werewolves. There's another little popcorn kernel of folklore tidbit. Werewolf for you too? Werewolf, definitely. Yeah, vampires are too elegant, you know? And like, I wouldn't want to live forever. Only come out at night, have like fancy parties. I know it's some people's like, whatever, is definitely
I'm solar powered, so if I was only able to come out at night, I'd probably die.
Yeah. Houseplants with more complex emotions.
Yes.
What is the creepiest thing that has ever happened to you?
I remember when I was younger, when I lived in that second floor apartment, I used to wake up at the same time every night. And at the foot of my bed I chalk this up now to probably an overactive imagination, but I swear by it. Could have been a dream. I don't know. But I swear that I would see someone in a raincoat standing at the foot of my bed. I remember I had that bunk bed where the bottom one kind of faced outwards, and then the top one was the opposite way.
Yeah, they were like...
And there was a desk on one side and a bookshelf on the other. And so I was mostly covered except for my feet. And I would always see this figure. And it was the same time every night. It was like 2:19 or 2:14. I can't remember now. It's been so long. But it was 2:19 or 2:14. And I would always wake up and I'd see this figure. And it would scare the absolute bejesus out of me. And so, I'd tuck my feet under the blanket if they weren't already. And I'd pull it up to my neck. And I'd squeeze my eyes shut. And then, I'd open my eyes and it wouldn't be there anymore. And I always, every single time, got the sudden thought to look outside because my window was right behind my bed. So I'd pull back the curtains and I'd look down at the street below, and under the streetlight would be the same figure.
Outside?
Yeah. And like I said, it might have been a dream. It might have been my overactive imagination. Because the thing about this figure was, you've seen SpongeBob, right?
Yeah.
Well, the Flying Dutchman has, this green ghostly glow to it.
Yeah, it looked like that?
Yeah. And I'm like...
Alright, that part's ringing a bell now, because I was going to say, how have I never known this about you?
No, I told this, because my mom,
I
started sleeping with a butter knife.
underneath your bed,
under the top mattress.
And your mom found it one time.
And she'd find it, and she'd be like, "What is wrong? Why are you hoarding my butter knives?" I'm like,
the raincoat person.
There's ghosts in my room, and she's like, "Go to bed. Go to bed. Give me my butter knives. You got any more?"
How many times did you see the raincoat person?
Oh god, dozens, if not more.
Was it your whole time living there?
Not the whole time, no. I want to say my earliest time I remember seeing it was probably around 8.
Wow.
And all of my weird happenings, I have multiple, including reoccurring dreams. All of those happened between 8 and 10, maybe almost 11. And then I can't recall. They kind of just stopped.
Out of nowhere?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't notice. It wasn't a noticeable stop, but
gradual?
Maybe? I'm not sure. Because it was so long ago that I don't remember it being a big thing where it was just something that just turned off one day. So it had to be gradual.
That's interesting. I listen to... To fall asleep, I have to listen to something scary, this.
Yeah.
But to fall asleep, I can't have silence. I need to have sound. And if I fall asleep to anything happy or normal, I have terrible nightmares. If I fall asleep listening to, scary stories, I normally watch something like that, scary stories to tell in the dark, or scary stories in rain. And from Let's Read, his icon is a guy in a raincoat with a hood over his head, standing underneath the streetlight.
Ooh.
So that's interesting.
Weird.
That is very interesting. That just made me think of that. Was it a guy or a girl? Do you know?
The hood was up. It had no face.
Big or tall? Well, tall or small?
Tall. I mean, I was little, so just about anybody was taller than me, but...
I know that feeling.
I'm trying to think, picturing how I remember it standing in my bedroom. Probably... It could fit through a door frame, so probably around 5'10".
So it's tall as Nolan, kind of?
Yeah. Tall person, but not obscenely tall, not a whole damn tree.
That would be scary.
Yeah.
That would be scary. Man, that was a good one. The creepiest thing that I've ever seen, I think, hands down, creepiest thing I've ever had happen to me was... obviously my nightmare house. So, but that's a story for another video. Because it has to do with my Onoric magic. My nightmare house. My dream magic. So I won't go into too many details about that. But it's something that still haunts me to this day. So, that is hands down the creepiest thing I've ever had happen to me because it still happens. So I feel bad because you gave this in-depth answer.
Well, do you have a secondary one that you can go in depth with?
I think the creepiest thing was like the multiple sightings of the creature. That or the time warp road, because that was something weird. So there's this road in our area that time doesn't exist on, and it ends in a dead end. The first time we came across it, since it ends in a dead end, you drive straight down and you literally have to turn around to go back out. First time we came across it, we hit the dead end 3 times and we were running out of gas and we could not get off the road. Because even though we knew we were heading away from the dead end and we didn't take any turns, and we were panicking because the car was running out of gas, and no matter what way we turned, we still hit the dead end. So we were like trying to pull up the GPS. GPS didn't work over there for whatever reason. And then one of the other times that we went again, we were finally able to cut through on the second road, because it happens 3 times normally. We hit the dead end 3 times. After the third time, we were able to get out, and then we had to like stop to the nearest gas station. We just made it. The other time when we went, because we were like, that was so weird, like there had been another road, like we missed or something else like that, like it has to be another road, we had done this wrong. When we tried to load the GPS, it pointed to the dead end, and it said that was my home location, which it wasn't. And then there's like all these houses, and they have like plant figures that look like humans hanging from the windows over the... It's a whole weird area. But that was scary because you couldn't control anything. That was creepy. Like the car was running fine. The car was still losing gas, but also like it was only like a half hour. No. Yeah, it was like a half hour of time that had gone by, but it was actually 2 hours. And then you were with us one time when we were driving. Amber had her GPS up to make sure we didn't go on this road, because sometimes we go for road like drives on back roads. She had her GPS up the whole entire time to make sure we weren't going to go on this road. And somehow we crossed over, what was it, like two highways and a bridge? Or was it like one highway and a bridge? I think it was 2 highways.
No, it was 1 highway.
It was 1 highway?
Yeah.
Oh, and then the bridge that loops to the highway, I think, or something.
Somehow, without passing over or under, we went past onto the other side of this highway and ended up in the vicinity of this road. I think we
ended up at the crossroads of it.
Of the crossroads, yeah.
The crossroads
and then we
went
straight across. We were like, nope. Did we blow the stop sign?
We blew through the stop sign. We didn't even stop.
I saw the street sign. I'm like, just go.
Went right through it. Didn't even stop. And it was like
2 a.m., wasn't it? So
yeah, it was like late morning hours. Early morning hours.
Really late.
So, but that whole road makes no sense. So that was freaky. And then obviously with the creature was also freaky to see. First time I ever saw it was with you.
That was the first time?
That was the first time I've ever seen it, yeah.
Oh, snap.
And then chasing your brother, too. And then the sightings in my parking lot. It looks like a werewolf. Could be a dog man, could be whatever. We do have, Native American land all over here. So, but that was weird. That's a whole other story, though. The creature stories, I think that's like a whole other...
Could make a whole segment.
Yeah, because we have so many people who witnessed it in all their stories, so we could make a video on that. But that one was... Yeah. It was intense. Next question. Do you believe in the paranormal and the supernatural? Why or why not?
Yes and no.
You need the concrete proof.
Yeah. I'm the skeptic.
No, it's totally fine.
Unless I can't explain it, it's got some sort of reasonable explanation. Despite me just telling you that I saw someone stand over my bed when I was little and then teleport to the road outside. But, yeah.
That's different, though,
Yeah.
Well, this is why it's always good for having you, come on my investigations, because I'm a big believer. I believe. So, and while I try to debunk and be logical in the moment, sometimes I don't, because I'm just like so excited if something happens. It takes me a little bit to try and be like, oh, okay, wait, it could be this. But in the moment, I'm like, did you see that? Oh my god! Oh! I get so excited over it.
She does. She gets so excited.
I
She's
get,
like a kid in a candy shop.
Oh yeah, no. As soon as something happens, like I'm just like, oh my god! No! I get like, you know, some people scream and they get like freaked out. I'm like, yeah! I get very happy, and I have to like afterwards take a few and be like, okay, hold on, wait, let's go through this again. But in the moment, I'm very, and it's good that she's skeptical when she comes with me on these investigations, because then she like pulls me back into the moment. This one, I got the idea from what your friends were asking. Would you rather spend the night in a cemetery or spend a night in the woods?
Cemetery.
I'm cemetery too.
I mean, I like the woods more than the cemetery. I know that you like cemetery. Well, you like both. But,
yeah.
Well, a cemetery is obviously usually within civilization. And so spending the night in the cemetery is no different than spending the night at your local playground. You know, there's people usually somewhere within distance. If you scream, somebody's gonna probably come looking. Whereas the woods, there's animals, there's weirdos.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably weirdos in the
cemetery at night.
But, you know, you could be in the middle of nowhere. Things happen in the woods.
As we're right next to a giant patch of woods.
Yeah, my backyard is woods.
Yeah. I love it. I agree, though. Cemetery too. But, like, here in Rhode Island, we have 3,078 cemeteries, I believe. That's off the top of my head. I fact check that, or fact check me if you're watching this. But we have more cemeteries than we have cities and towns in our state. But a lot of those are little tiny ones that are in the woods. I would pick a cemetery at night over the woods. Same reasons. Animals, you don't know. There's more places to hide in the woods, where a cemetery is more open. So, and I would just be exploring all night anyway, so I probably wouldn't even be sleeping. I would just be talking to the headstones, but that's me. I feel like you kind of answered this one, but what's the weirdest thing you've ever seen?
Probably the creature, actually.
Yeah.
The creature was just unexplainable, and
so massive.
It was huge. And it looked like a person
running on
all fours with that awkward, like, you know, your butt in the air kind of thing. But it was like furry and mangy, and at least 3 times the size of the coyote that ran out in front of it.
Yeah. So for the, well, do you want to tell it?
Sure, why not? So we used to like to drive around at night, listen to music, chain smoke our cigarettes, and just de-stress for the day. And so we're driving down some back roads past... Hello?
What was that?
Good question.
Hello?
So we're...
Something's in the woods as we're talking about the creature. Jeez Louise.
Anyway, lost my train of thought. Oh, so we're driving down this back road. There's like farms and houses. It's dark, but it's not too dark. But there's not very many streetlights. And as we're driving, this coyote runs out into the middle of the road. You know, ears back, tail tucked. Kind of pauses for a second in the headlights as I slow down, and then it crosses the road and goes, you know, into someone's yard. We keep driving. We're like, oh, that's weird, whatever. And just out of curiosity, we both look in the mirrors, and we see this thing. It was very clearly bigger than the coyote. It looked like a person running on all fours, butt in the air, but it was like this patchy, weird fur, like a dog with mange.
But it had a long snout, so it was like a bear, and it had a long tail too.
Tail, yeah.
Long, bushy tail.
And it just kind of ran across the road in the same direction as the coyote, and I actually stopped the car, and for whatever stupid reason that would get us in a horror movie, we turned around to go look again.
trying to flash the high beams into the
Flashing
woods
the high
where we ran.
beams into
I
the
leaned
woods.
out the car.
Looking for this.
I
You
rolled
opened
down
the windows.
Yeah, I rolled down the windows to hang out of the car.
Well, we didn't see it again after that night, but we have
Airplane.
and people we've never told that story to before have given us accounts of them witnessing something described similarly or almost exact in some cases to what we had seen, and it was pretty weird.
Yeah. When it chased her brother, he came back to the house and was telling us about it. And he was like freaked out by it. And then remember your dad went to go to the window to go look, and he saw something go by. Your mom was too terrified to leave the house after dark after that because of how worked up her brother was because of it. And then when her brother was saying it, our other friend Mario just stopped and he was like, what did it look like? And Amber and I didn't tell anybody else about like our encounter. So, her brother was telling our friend Mario, and then Mario tells us he has the same exact encounter not that far from where we saw it with his friend. So then Amber and I are like, oh my gosh. So then we told them our story with the same creature. So
yeah, every single story has been within 8 to 10 miles.
Yeah, of that spot.
From all of, the location. It was weird because like there's woods, but there's not like
deep woods,
unexplored places. It's people's houses.
It's brackish water because the ocean's right there, so it's not fresh water.
Yeah, suburbs. It's not a whole lot of places for something like that of that size and that weirdness to hide.
Yeah,
because it's just weird and unexplainable.
Yeah, here in New England we have what's known as the eastern coyote, but locals call them coy wolves, and they're bigger than the average coyote. They're like 30% coyote, 30%. It's either 30% domestic dog and 10% wolf, or 30% wolf and 10% domestic dog. You'll have to look it up, or I'll have to look it up. But they're a lot bigger than the average coyote. An average coyote is like what, I think this big throughout like the rest of like the United States, but ours are like this big. Ours are like the size of a German Shepherd, or if not a little bit bigger. So like we have decent coyotes, but we see them all the time over here. We know what they look like, and my father's a hunter, so like I've been up close and personal with animals before, and this thing was a lot bigger. It wasn't like, oh, it's just a big coy wolf, or it was like a bear with mange or something else like that. It was a lot bigger. What do you think is freakier, only seeing the whites of someone's eyes in the dark only, or seeing someone smile in the dark only? They're both creepy, right?
They're both creepy. I'm trying to picture it. I feel like seeing the whites of eyes would be creepier.
Same.
Just because
you don't know what the rest of the face is. You don't know how if they're smiling or what.
Do we definitely know it's a person though? Like,
yeah, no, like a person's eyes. Just seeing the whites of someone's eyes in the dark, or just seeing like the teeth of their smile and smiling in the dark without seeing like eyes or the rest of their face.
I feel like eyes tell you more than...
Yeah.
So not being able to see the eyes would be creepier. In that case, if we definitely know it's human.
We have a different answer.
If we definitely know that it's human, then just seeing, like, this glowing, white, toothy smile would just be weird, because smiles can be malicious.
Mm-hmm.
Eyes tell you a lot more. So seeing the eyes and knowing it's human, or whatever, that's kind of weird, kind of cool, I guess, but just seeing... Hello?
Fire agrees.
Yeah, so smile.
Smile?
In that case.
Alright, we disagree on one. I think the eyes. Because if someone's eyes are bugging out, but I can't see the rest of it, I could already tell that I'm, like, in a dangerous situation, If someone's eyes are narrowed, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if they're smiling, I don't know if they're grimacing, I don't know if they're in pain, I don't know if they're about to lunge at me. Like, the eyes would freak me out more for that, so. But we differed on an answer for once. Whoa! We're into the woods. We just heard something in the woods, and we're out here by ourselves, and it's late at night. Well, I don't know what time it is. It's 11:01.
It's not that late.
This is the one that you had said earlier that you had found, so this one isn't as spooky. What do you think aliens would say if they came to Earth on Halloween and they saw everyone dressed up for Halloween?
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
They'd probably think we're really, really stupid.
I agree. They probably would think we're all different types of creatures, and they probably wouldn't know what to make of us. Especially if some look like them.
Back in the ship, we're going home.
Or if, like, because we don't know, like, what aliens could look like. You know what I mean? We automatically, we're humans, so we want to assume that people look, or things look like us.
Yeah.
So we expect them to be, like, humanoid.
Yeah.
But, like, imagine if someone was dressed up as, like, the poop emoji, and that's, like, what the aliens look like, and they're just like, Barbara, what are you doing here? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I picture, like, weird scenarios like that. But what are you doing? Get back in the ship! This ain't a tourist stop! Roll up the windows! Earth isn't safe! That's... I feel like they would just drive past us, like, roll them up! Roll up those windows!
They probably do drive past us. If aliens exist, they're probably just like, don't even... That's like... It's like the Florida of...
No offense to anyone in Florida, but...
of the planetary system.
I agree with that. Do you believe in aliens? That was a big thud. Was that from in there or in the woods?
It's hard to tell.
More stuff's happening.
Do I believe in aliens? I wouldn't say I believe, but I don't disbelieve either.
Neutral, indifferent?
Yeah, indifferent. I can't say I've never thought of it, but there are millions of stars and galaxies, and chances are we're not the only one with a sun that has a planet close enough to sustain life.
I believe in aliens.
Could be. Are they aliens, though? If
we consider them because it's alien to us, so we would consider them aliens.
What if there was just another planet with humans on it? Like, not carbon copy, but, you know.
Close enough to it.
Close enough, the same stuff happened, Big Bang, you know, whatever. Dinosaurs, they're just evolved differently, because they're in another solar system, so, you know, maybe our rabbits have kangaroo legs and duck bills.
That would be interesting.
That'd be cool. I'm just thinking of the turtle duck from Avatar.
Yeah!
Airbender now. I want a turtle duck. Sorry, tangent.
They're so cute. No, you're fine. No, I think that there's life. I feel like if the universe is so endless and massive, there has to be something else in there, even if it's just organisms. Like, I feel like there's something out there.
There's an entire planet of centipedes.
Well, you just gave some people the heebie-jeebies with that one.
I gave myself the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, I saw that. Would you ever do a seance with me? Answer honestly.
I feel like my brain just died because, like, is a seance the same thing as, like, Ouija boards and talking to ghosts and stuff?
Somewhat. It's when you're calling in on something. So normally in tradition, a seance is normally with a channeler, someone who's either a medium, or some people work with psychics, to actually call forth. Everyone, like, holds hands to gather, like, their universal forms of energy used as a broad term, to summon the spirit to speak with someone directly or speak through someone directly.
I'm gonna say no.
Fair enough. It's a little bit more hardcore than just the normal investigations that we do.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm fine with the investigations. You know, you never know what you're gonna record, catch, or hear, and what the explanation is for it. And it could be a ghost, could be a random pipe in the wall, could be a car outside, or a weird trick of the light. But they're kind of like, that's their environment and they're in it and we're just visiting. Calling something to me, you don't specifically know what you're gonna get. Whether, you know, it's your dead grandmother or, you know, something more malicious. I don't want to mess with that.
Fair enough.
I don't want to take anything home with me.
Fair enough. So that means you do believe a little bit.
I don't disbelieve, but I'm not on the same level as you.
Yeah, no, I know that. Definitely not. I'm definitely
I'm pretty neutral
level.
in most, like, opinions of things I can't see and prove. I'm not gonna say they exist. I'm not gonna say they don't exist. I'm interested in witnessing things that would prove they exist to a certain degree. Like the seances I won't even do a Ouija board.
Way out of the comfort zone.
Yeah. I don't want the possibility of taking anything home with me. I hear enough weird noises as it is. I don't need anything knocking on the walls or talking back to me. Or talking through me, because that's just weird.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Does it ever freak you out when you're in my house and the walls start knocking in response to us?
No.
I never thought about that before with you just, like, talking about that.
No.
Okay.
Doesn't bother me.
Let's
It's kind of just like a quirk of your house.
Spirits offering their 2 cents.
If you were just like, Ouija board, I'm gonna call somebody to answer me. And I'd be like, nope, I'm good.
Are there any type of haunted places that you can think of that you wouldn't go with me? No,
I'd go.
No, you would go. The only places that I could think of that even I wouldn't go is like there's a place in Connecticut. It's an old asylum, and it's all open. No one guards it. There's no security there, and there's a lot of like homeless people that live in there, and it's so massive you don't know what you're going to run into. So those are the only types of haunted places I also wouldn't go because there's too many
too many rooms, too many corridors.
Yeah, it's like 8 buildings that were an asylum, so there's multiple rooms and multiple floors, and it's not like people are
I watch
there
those videos on
24/7.
YouTube.
Yeah, but I wouldn't
people
want to
exploring stuff.
I wouldn't want to go there with just the two of us.
Oh, definitely not just the two of us.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't even go in a group, something like that.
I'd maybe check out one building if there's a security guard or just someone on the outside, just so we know if anyone was trying to sneak in. But those are the ones that freak me out because humans scare me more than any spirit.
That's true.
I'm more scared of humans than
I have a question for you.
Ooh.
I already know the answer. But
ask me a question! Ask me a question! Woo!
Alright, you are lost in the woods. You've been lost in the woods for a few days.
I'm lost in the woods?
Bear with me.
Okay, alright.
Bear with me.
Okay.
Hypothetical situation. You've been lost in the woods for 3 days. You're hungry, you're tired, you're cold. What would scare you more? Running into an animal or running into a person?
Probably a person.
Oh.
Depends on the type of animal, but like if I'm in there for 3 days and I'm cold and I'm hungry and I'm weak from not eating, I probably wouldn't be able to defend myself against animal anyway. Oh, it depends on the type of animal though.
Alright, let's call it a wolf.
Oh, but wolves are my favorite. I would be the idiot that would try and pet it. Oh my gosh.
You could be delirious if you've had no food.
Yeah, wolves standing are like 5 feet.
Depends on whether or not you had water, but
yeah, wolves standing are like 4 feet, I think, for like gray wolves, I think. So like it's almost as tall as me, so I'd be like face to face with it. I'd probably be more freaked out if I saw a wolf, but like also a human, I'd be like, I was in here the whole entire time with you. It also depends if it was like what kind of person too. Oh man, that is a tough one.
Right? It depends on so many factors.
Yeah, it's like there's so many variables.
Running into a person in the woods is terrifying.
But like, is it a search and rescue person like trying to find me, and I'll be like, yo, or if is it like another hermit and they're like, I came out here to find myself on like peyote, but I'm good now, don't worry. And I'll be like, cool, let's get out. But also knowing that there's a person in there and they could have been watching me while I was like trying to sleep. They could have been following me that whole time and they waited until I got really weak. That also freaks me out. I don't know if that was part of your question, but that's like how I think of it. After 3 days of me being weak and starving,
that's why I threw the 3 days in there, because it throws a loop, because I would have known the answer to your question.
Go with human. I'm going to go with human. Because animals act on like instinct, humans work on consciousness. Oh, the next 2 that I have to do with dreams, and you kind of answered one already, so I'm not sure if you have anything else. But have you ever had a recurring nightmare that freaks you out no matter what?
Yes.
Because I was thinking of something different when I wrote these. And I want to see if it was the one I was thinking of. Because I
actually have 2 reoccurring dreams / nightmares that happened in the same time period of me seeing this figure at the end of my bed. I think those actually happened a lot longer. One dream in particular started happening when my younger brother was born. And in this dream, for whatever reason, I am still very young. Much younger than anyone would leave to babysit a younger sibling, but my brother is probably about a toddler in there, like maybe 1.5, 2, just started to walk, not like terribly coordinated yet, but I'm babysitting my younger brother, and he's kidnapped by monkeys. My worry is that I'm going to get in trouble because my brother has been kidnapped by monkeys. So rather than call for help in this dream, I go and I run after the monkeys. Down my street, and it turns into a highway. And I'm running down the center, like, grass strip of the highway towards one of those old school, like, pipe jungle gyms, like, see-through, totally. But these monkeys run under the jungle gym and then kind of, like, disappear. And as I run under the jungle gym, it becomes this whole like building of mazes, and I'm running after them down these like maze-like corridors, and then I always wake up. It's never concluded, that dream, and I always wake up at the same point, just turning a corner.
Hello?
That's probably the possum or the rabbits. And then my other reoccurring dream was I had a treehouse in my backyard, but it was literally just a slab, like a thick slab of wood in the fork, like resting in the fork of one trunk to another trunk. So it was kind of just like scaffolding.
Yeah, like a seat.
It was bigger than that. And in this one, I'm much littler than the babysitting one. I'd probably say 5 or 6 maybe. But I go outside to play, and I go to climb up onto my treehouse, and this is all open. There's no walls to this treehouse. It's just a slab of wood. It was very simple. I climb up, and as I climb up and get onto it, I'm suddenly in a room. There's 4 walls, no door, no window. And out of all the cracks in the floorboards and in the walls come these little black bugs that just fill the whole room. And then start crawling up and covering me. And then I would wake up. I don't like bugs.
Alright, last question. Well, for me, yes, I've had reoccurring nightmares, but they have to do with my nightmare house. It's always in the basement of that house. I don't know if that counts. They're never exactly the same, but I get dream claustrophobia in them, which is when you're lucid dreaming and you're aware that you're dreaming, but you can't do anything to wake up from the dream. You can't imagine a door. You can't wake yourself up. Whatever door you go through, you end up in the back dream. You can't find your anchor and your tether back to yourself. Nothing exists, and you can't get out from the dream until you watch it play out. But they're always in the same spot, which is terrifying. Like I said, I haven't mentioned anything about my dreams to them yet. I'm going to make that a separate video because I feel like it deserves a separate video. Have you ever had a dream that came true?
Dreams? No. I've never dreamed anything so specific that it's ever come true. But I have had, like, moments of feelings of dread that have woken me up.
And you just know.
Yeah, I woke up one time while I was still living in Vermont. I woke up. I had probably been asleep for maybe 15 minutes or so. It was around midnight. So it was late, but it wasn't, like, terribly late. But it was too late to bother anybody kind of late. But I woke up and I just had this, like, overbearing feeling of dread. Something was wrong somewhere, and I didn't know what it was. And I've had this often. I wouldn't say often, but I'd had it enough to know that something somewhere was wrong. And sometimes it doesn't have anything to do with me. Sometimes it's like something around here happens, like a car crash or whatever. But that particular time, I had sent a text message to Mom, thinking, she was probably sleeping, but you know how she slept. So
I think you sent one to me too at one point at 2:15 in the morning.
Yeah, I think I sent you one as well. Asking if everyone was home, if everyone was okay. I had a weird feeling and I just wanted to check in. And Mom sent me a message back almost immediately, and she said, "I just got off the phone with your grandmother. Your Nana just passed away."
I remember that, but it still gives me chills every time I hear it.
I wouldn't say I'm particularly close with my Nana either. It wasn't like, someone close to you has died and you kind of feel it and know. I hadn't seen her since I was 12, and it happened 2017, 2018. I don't actually remember when she passed away. Sorry, Nana. I love you. We weren't close, but I love you. This is a feeling, like, when I get this feeling, I usually stay in for the day. I usually don't go anywhere, I make sure to tell everybody before they leave the house that I love them. It's a weird, freaky feeling. Like, I can't even describe it. It's like heaviness, but emptiness.
It's like your soul's weighed down with so much dread that your body turns inside out into like a vessel of lead. That's how it feels like for me.
I don't have the words to describe how bad it feels. It's unsettling. It's just weird.
Oh my god, you scared the out of me, Shane!
You just scared me.
Oh, sorry, we're talking about scary things. So you just scared Halloween. Came out of the shadows. Oh, whew. Happy Halloween! Oh, we're recording for my channel. My bad. No, you're fine. You have a scary story you want to share? Come here, hold the microphone. Introducing everybody, Shane, my brother from another mother.
Family friendly.
Oh, damn.
We're talking about scary stories. We talked about your incidents with, like, the creature earlier.
The thing that chased you?
The thing that chased you?
Oh, shit, yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about that at all?
No.
Still freaked out about it?
Yeah, no, I remember. God, thinking about it reminds me of how red my vision went because of how much heavy breathing, my asthma, and all that stuff. Why is the mic on your hat? That's hilarious. I don't know what the hell that thing was. That thing was, it was like a dog, but then it stood up.
Sorry to be to freak you out again. Sorry.
Sweet dreams.
I've had dreams that came true. One was your car accident too. So I've had quite a few dreams that have come true. And it's that same feeling of dread. Like I had a panic attack at work for like the first time because that was before like anyone fully believed me with the dreams. But that was that terrible car accident one. And it was just like the most dread feeling. And like I couldn't even focus going into work. And then when I was at work, I was only there for like an hour and like that feeling hit me so hard. Like
it like knocks the wind
yeah,
out.
I was like I couldn't breathe. You know what I mean? I had to get up from my computer and like I went outside and I felt like I had to like start crawling on the ground, but I felt like I had to get away from myself because it was so like overwhelming. And I was like, something's going to happen. You know what I mean? It felt like you were going to, like I was going to die. You know what I mean? Like that kind of like feeling where it was like something so dark and heavy and just like so much fear and like that dread feeling that like I felt like I had to crawl away from myself. So even my manager stepped out. My boyfriend at the time had stepped out with me because we had worked together. And then he had told her about my dream from before. And she was trying to calm me down saying, it was just a dream, just a dream. But I was like, then why am I feeling like this? Like, you know, I've had similar dreams, but this is before I really noticed the trend in them. And when we went back in, that's when it was playing on the news, everything that I described to my manager. And that was weird. And that was like, it was shortly after that she let me like smoke cleanse the office. Because I was like asking forever because it was like so much like icky vibes in there. And I was like, even if people like don't believe in it, the placebo effect will be enough for them to like change their mood. But I remember like coming in and then I saw that and I went back outside after seeing it on the news because we had all those TVs up and everyone was just watching it with like fire and like, and then I remember her just looking at me. She's like, you really are a witch. But I like, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't funny at the time, but looking back on it, it was, but it's a terrible, terrible feeling. Do you want to answer a question?
Oh,
I heard
every single bone just cracked.
I heard that. Do you wanna answer a question? Sure. Would you rather know the date of your death or the cause of your death? Cause? All right, I think that's the same exact thing that we said.
Because then I can devote the rest of my life towards avoiding it if I can.
That's what I said. That's what I said. That's not funny. Okay, what's freakier? Always hearing something move around you and never seeing it, or always seeing something move but never hearing it?
The second one.
Just seeing it but never seeing it, like hearing it?
Yeah.
Not to put that in your mind.
Because, I mean, something, you think that something physical is there, you know, considering the dimension we live in, but then not hearing its emotions, it's just even weirder.
I know, it's freaky. All right, last one I'll ask you, then you could go on your merry way. But what's freakier, seeing just someone's eyes in the dark and nothing else, or seeing someone's toothy smile in the dark and nothing else?
It's gotta be the teeth, because of this one.
Answer!
I forgot about that. Memory unlocked.
One closet we had like shelves, and you know, as a kid, it was like a giant closet, but really it just was a regular closet. And this one would manage to get to the top shelf, and I would want to go in there because it had like our toys and like random stuff in there. I can't remember if we just went in there to get toys or if we were lured in there, but then...
we were lured in there!
Gosh, you make me sound like a horrible person.
The door was got closed, and I look up and I just see a smile, but nothing else. So I'm just like, what? I freaked out, the door opened and it was her. I'm like...
We used to play in there.
Yeah, I know.
I was like,
playing though at that point. It's so funny.
Because we play hide and seek in there. One of us would always be hiding in there. There was always a good hiding spot in there because that's where all the towels and the blankets were. That's where Mom hid the Christmas presents, and she thought we never knew.
The only one that could get to the top shelf, and neither.
There was a pipe that ran up. It was like I think it was a water pipe because it was never hot. But it was it must have been some sort of water pipe. So I'd scurry up the pipe and sit on the top shelf.
And just wait? And just like be like...
No, that was my hiding spot when we played hide and seek.
Oh, okay.
When we used to play this game when we were younger where we'd pretend to go camping. And we had one of those like cheap It came in an Easter basket. It was like a camping set. I had a lantern.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And we'd pretend to go camping in there. That was like our,
secret play spot.
Well, that was the only place that was dark.
And there was like blankets
in
and
the
stuff
house.
in there too. So like
Blankets
for our
and
camping
whatnot.
bags and all that.
So we'd have our sleeping bags, and those would be our bunks. And it was always on the bottom because he was the littlest. And then Shane, you could only get up to the second one, so that middle one, and I was the only one who could get up to the top, so I was up on the top. And then I'd lean over and I'd grin at them because there was just enough light in the crack of the door that it would illuminate my face, specifically my teeth. And I'd grin at them, and they would just get like progressively more panicked the longer I did it, until they would run out of the closet.
That's still a fear I have to this day.
Oh my god!
Childhood
I'm gonna
traumas.
laugh, but like, I didn't mean to ask that question because I didn't even know that, so I feel kind of bad now.
No,
but
right.
like, I'm picturing it. But now, like, he towers over, so he could just stand in there, and you know, he's above your eyesight now.
He pokes his head into my window and he's like, "Hey!" And I'm like,
Payback.
The Uno reverse card.
Yeah, there you go.
throw my cigarette. I have so many holes in my blanket now.
Love you, Mike.
Love you too, bye. Night night. All right, guys. That was our Spooky and Sips. I actually drank all my coffee before I brought it out here, so I didn't have anything to say. But I hope you found some of these questions interesting. They were kind of interesting, you know. Little dark, you know.
A little bit dark, but that's our humor.
Yeah. So hopefully you answered some of them in the comments below. I'm really curious, like, what you guys would do in these scenarios if you had the same answers of us or different, and why. Like, don't be afraid to leave multiple. Like, I want to know all your answers. I wish all of you guys could be out here, you know, sitting around the fire and the pretty lights by the woods and hearing all the spooky stories. But I hope you're having a really good night, evening, morning energy space that you're in. And I don't want spooky things to happen to you unless you want them to. But I really, truly hope that good things happen to you. Stay spooky. Bye!